to be here with today with our special guest, Madelyn Cline. While she needs no introduction, I'm going to give you a little look into what she's been up to. South Carolina native Madelyn Cline took the world by storm with her starring turn in Netflix's hit series Outer Banks. From Focus Features' Boy Erased to Netflix's Stranger Things and HBO's Vice Principals, Madelyn has made her mark in an array of high-profile, cult, and popular projects over the course of the last 3 years. She recently starred in Vertical Entertainment's TIFF-selected The Giant opposite Odessa Young, as well as in Richard Linklater's mentored Austin Film Society grant honoree What Breaks the Ice with Sophia Hublitz, which debuted at the Woodstock Film Festival. Madelyn will next be seen in Blumhouse's Once Upon a Time in Staten Island opposite Naomi Watts, Bobby Cannavale, and Frank Grillo. Madelyn is currently filming Netflix's Knives Out 2 for Rian Johnson. Wow, that is a lot for being here, Madelyn. After reading all that, I don't even know how you had the time.
That
So
made
I
my
really
palms
appreciate it.
sweaty.
Oh my gosh, you're telling me I got to get all these names right. Well, thank you so much for being here for our Breakthroughs Festival. To kick it off, I know you actually recently did a body scan video for Women's Health. For those that aren't familiar, Body Scan is a video series we do where we ask celebs about different physical features and any stories that they have that go along with them. So for instance, Madelyn shared that when she got her wisdom teeth taken out, she couldn't stop calling her doctor Robin Williams while she was under anesthesia. But another thing that she shared was that she also struggled with body image and some eating issues as a teenager. So I wanted you to share a little bit, Madelyn, a little bit more about how you overcame that and how you maintain that positive body image mindset.
I think body image and body positivity is, it's a daily journey. And, loving yourself is an action. And it's something that you have to, for me at least, you wake up every day and you choose to, um, you know, be positive towards yourself and do things that are kind to yourself and speak kindly to yourself. And I think just recognizing that, you recognizing if you have a negative relationship, or, you have like negative dialogue in your mind, like what, how you reverse that, which is the complete opposite, which is self-love and doing things that are nice for yourself and, reevaluating maybe your relationship with food and, and seeking help. I feel like sometimes we feel like asking for help is a sign of weak to say anything, but I think it's actually a sign of strength. And there's a lot of people who also may be going through the same things and find strength in numbers and in community.
Insecurities or pressures that hold us back.
Um, I don't know if it's necessarily about freeing yourself. I think I received really wonderful advice from a friend, and I was kind of speaking about anxiety and my negative relationship sometimes with food or with diet, um, in wanting to achieve a certain image or body type. And the advice I received was, in regards to anxiety or any sort of struggles you're having, like recognizing that if it's something, in a way, it's kind of your friend. It's something that, and I mean that as in like your anxiety is going to be there, and that ongoing relationship, that daily relationship where you're constantly, reminding yourself to love yourself and to speak positively to yourself. Don't I think it's really easy to almost hate hate it even more, and then you hate yourself more because you feel like you can't achieve what you're wanting to achieve, or you're not achieving like an image that you're seeing on social media, or like you're looking at an edited picture online and you're feeling like you're comparing somebody's external with your internal, and that never works out.
Mhm.
Um, and I feel like, in a way, learning to, um, I'm trying to explain it, but I guess in a way, learning to shift that like that self-loathing and that hate towards any sort of negative that you have, and learning to walk alongside it, and day in and day out, learn to shift your mindset and know that it's never going to go away. So just learning to walk with it and
Mm.
be present and hear what it's saying, and consciously redirect your thinking. And I know that's like a really weird, long way to go around answering that question, but that's kind of how I've been reframing it, because it's, if I'm able to reframe it in a positive way and shift my thinking, then that starts the journey in, for me, daily, in thinking positively about myself and my struggles, rather than, just being angry and self-loathing, and in walking through life in a more positive way, knowing that I have imperfections and I have struggles and I have things that I'm constantly working on, but not thinking about it in a really negative way.
Mm-hmm. And I love that saying, like walking alongside it, just acknowledging this is here, this is what
Mhm.
I deal with, and
Yes.
figuring out how to ways to live with it rather than like fighting it so hard. I
Yes.
love that.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of younger followers, including my 14-year-old niece, so a lot of teenagers. If you could go back and give your younger self advice, what would you tell yourself? It could be body image, it could be whatever you want.
I would tell myself to stop worrying about what everybody thinks so much, and just live in the moment and do what you want, and don't worry about what, what they're wearing or what they're doing or how they look or who they're dating, or what they think about what you're wearing, like, or what you're doing. Just do what you want,
Be you.
and
Yeah.
yeah, be you and embrace it. Yeah, I think, I know it's a lot easier said than done, because I'm still, like we're talking about, like every day you're learning how to embrace yourself more and more, and we're constantly changing, and that's okay. But I think, if I could go back, or if I could give anybody any advice, especially in the teenage years, it would be just stop worrying about what everybody else is doing or saying or wearing or thinking. Just don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's a battle with social media, like teenagers growing up with that now. Because then on one side, it's like that can help you be more judgmental and self-conscious. But on the flip side, you also get to see these people around the world who
Yes,
maybe are similar to you and help you bring out that side of you. So I love that. Um,
absolutely.
so mental health, I know, is a big thing for you, and it plays a big part in our emotions. Just like body image can be a mental battle, so can happiness. And I'm curious, what are some ways that help keep your mental health in check and in a positive place?
Um, I think, for me, I always feel best, when I'm in a routine, and I'm not good at sticking to routine. And sometimes I hate it, and sometimes I resist it, because I mean, and it doesn't. I mean, there's nothing wrong with falling out of a routine, and that's totally fine. But I do best when I wake up, pretty, not like ass crack early, but like pretty early, and I make myself, or I drink some water, I make myself my coffee, maybe go on a run, just get some energy going for the day, and then kind of just go through everything that I've got for the day or for the week. And if I don't have anything for the day, making myself busy and making time to be productive, like learning something new every day. I've recently been really into podcasts. I had a hard time getting into them, but I think with all the traveling that's been happening, it's been a really great way for me to download something, and then I can listen to it on the plane, instead of watching two
Love
seasons of Keeping
podcasts.
Up with the Kardashians,
Yeah.
which I will still do. But I think for me, it's just keeping my brain active and doing something that feels productive every day. It just really helps with my mental, in reading, and just I don't know, I feel like those are forms of self-care. You have your rituals in the mornings, and you have your rituals at nighttime, like winding down, and then in between, like doing something that makes you personally feel good. And that looks different for everybody, but identifying those things that make you as a person happy and working towards doing those things in your free time, and and just I don't know, just checking in with yourself, and making sure you're doing those things, and making yourself happy.
Hmm. Vacations are great, but it's always so nice to come back to your
For sure.
routine and rituals and what makes you feel good. I'm curious, what are your favorite podcasts recently?
So I have been listening to Dan Carlin's Hardcore History.
Oh, I don't
Really,
know.
really interesting. And because I recently was like, I feel like I don't remember anything from school because I was not paying attention. And I want to go back, and I want to just like start from the beginning, and and just relearn things. And I've also been really into, since we were in Greece, and so I was just like absolutely fascinated and just like amazed by how beautiful it was, and the history there.
Hmm.
And I've always been really fascinated by like Greek history, and so I started listening to podcasts about philosophy and like all the philosophers, especially like from that particular region. Really, really fascinating. There's one called Philosophize This, which is really fun. I went all the way back to the beginning, and just going through each one in order, and it's really, really cool. But yeah, those are the ones I'm currently on.
Just some light
Um,
podcasting.
some light podcasting. I also, there's also I love a true crime podcast,
Of
but
course.
I had to stop because they make me like, they're so fascinating, and it's so great to sit down with a glass of rosé and watch a true crime documentary or listen to a podcast. But I feel like I'm on such a come down afterwards, like it's just so dark and depressing, so I did switch gears
Balance
for a
them out.
second.
So, a little philosophy on the
Yeah,
side. I love
a little
that.
philosophy on the side.
Um, so going back to mental health, obviously another big role in that is social media. And we've talked about kind of before this, like taking a break from your phone or what have you. But that can play a big part, especially for teenagers now growing up with that. How would you describe your relationship with social media, and how do you keep it a fun and positive place?
My relationship with my social media is a roller coaster. It it really I'm still learning how to. I mean, I've never been like a big social media person. It's always kind of stressed me out. Because I'm always thinking like, I'm I'm literally always thinking, what are people gonna think? Like, what are they gonna say? Is this like a stupid caption, or is this a stupid post? Or like, I think this is funny, but what if like nobody thinks it's funny, and I'm just weird? I don't know. And so I just like I go through all these filters, like when I post things, which I hate, and then I'll go through a period of time where I'm just posting everything, and I'm just like, mm, repost, put it on my story, and put everything on my story, like just posting absolutely everything. And then I'll go back down, and I'm like, oh God, I'm over analyzing everything. And then I'll just like, just stalk everybody's page, and I'll just, I'll overanalyze everything, and I'll like, oh my God, like her life is like beautiful and perfect, and oh my God, like her style, like how do I get that, and it's, and then I'll like think that I need to revamp my wardrobe, like, and I'll like so it's one of
It's
those
a
ongoing
battle.
things for me. It is a battle. It totally is a battle because it's like thing is it's all filtered. It's all like, again, like it's people putting forward their best selves
Yeah.
online, and not that there's anything wrong with that at all. I mean, I do it. I think we all like to do it. We're putting the highlights of our lives for the most part on social media. And I think especially Instagram, and sometimes you just, I don't know, sometimes you overanalyze it, or sometimes you compare somebody's external with your
Mhm.
internal. But it's one of those things where again, it's day by day, and I just have to snap myself out of it and be like, like, just post it, or, or don't,
I
just
feel
do
like
what you
that's going
want.
to be really refreshing for a lot of people to hear because even, people who don't have as many followers or you are constantly thinking about that and worrying, should I post this? What are people going to say?
Yeah.
This and that. And so I'm sure for you, is even more pressure. And I'm guessing that it's not like you check a box and like, oh, I'm a celebrity now and I'm going to gain this many followers. So I social media training or like something
Right.
like that. I'm guessing that wasn't something it was kind of probably
Not
over
at
the course
all.
of a couple months, you suddenly have all these people following you and caring what you say and post and
I mean, it's really insane. And I feel like for the most part, I mean, my Instagram is like half, promoting the show and everything, and then half Finsta. Because I really don't, I feel weird like being very self-promotional, and like posting pictures of myself, or like, posting a selfie where I felt like I felt really good. Like I'll open Instagram and I'll pull it up and I'll hover right over the post button. I'm like, no, I can't do that. I don't, that's weird. I don't want to, like I'll do that like 5 or 6 times, because I feel like sometimes there is this pressure to, kind of to know, like, how to be like a social media expert, and, to post all these really cool things. And, I follow other people, and I'll be like, what are they posting? Like,
Mhm.
what does their feed look like? And in like the hopes of like wanting to try and make it more aesthetic. But I don't know. I can't.
Why
I
do we do
feel,
this to ourselves?
I
It's
don't
such
know. Because it's really not a big deal, but I've kind of like, I feel like I'm happiest when I'm just posting stupid shit, or sorry, or just, posting videos that make me laugh, which is kind of where tomfoolery came from. Like I've always kind of treated my Instagram like a Finsta, and I think it's great. I love when people don't take themselves too seriously, and you see that, they're posting just like really dumb shit, and
yeah,
it makes me laugh.
good
And
for you.
it's like, yeah, it's like it's a glimpse into like their brain, and, their sense of humor, and I really love that. Not that there's anything wrong with, because I'm like looking on, Cameron's page, and I'm like, oh my God, she's so pretty, and I'll be like, looking at what she's posting, and she's very vibey, but I can't.
There's just two different ways to go about it. Yeah. There's the Kim
For sure.
Kardashians
Yeah,
and then the
absolutely.
rest of us.
Hey, nothing wrong with it.
Okay, going back to some questions. Earlier, you mentioned your ritual, and I know you've spoken about before skincare kind of being a ritual for you. I'd love for you to take us through your morning and nighttime skincare routines.
So my morning skincare routine, it's just like a ritual to kind of help to get the day started. I'll have my coffee, I'll take a shower, and I'll wash my face, put a toner on, exfoliate, put my serums and my moisturizer on, and I love the feeling of a clean face and feeling just fresh, like washing all the sleep off, and I feel like it really helps me wake up. Sometimes I'll use one of those rollers, these face rollers that you put in the freezer,
Love those.
and that'll really wake me up because it's ice cold, but it's great. And it's great for depuffing. And I usually use just like an oil-based a makeup remover and just get everything off. Like I'll just rub it all off. Like my face looks awful. I look terrifying. And I'll wash my face again. And then again, I'll exfoliate, I'll tone, and put my night serums on, my moisturizer. And then sometimes if I'm trying to, get like after I've been working on a job and I've been wearing makeup every single day on set, I'll usually use a retinoid,
Hmm.
and it's like, I mean, it's crazy. I did that recently. It was like my skin was just shedding its top layer, but it was so great because my skin is just, it feels so much better. It's so much less decongested. But I usually only use those for limited periods of time. One, because they do not mix well with makeup.
Hmm.
And obviously you don't want to be in the sun while you're using them, but it's just like those two routines in the morning it wakes me up, and at nighttime it calms me down, just gives me, I don't know, it feels like
I
it's like a
love
little
it.
slide.
I know. I'm with you. I've gotten so used to not wearing makeup now, and you and I
Yes.
both know the Zoom filter trick,
Yep.
um, which is obviously on right now. But I agree with you. Something about just like the circular massages of the
Oh my
cleanser,
God.
just like it's
I know.
so nice.
It's so calming. Like, I mean, just in sometimes I don't know if you use there's the ice roller, and then there's also like gua sha.
Hmm.
And I use that sometimes, occasionally. I'm not very consistent with it, but oh my God, it's just like
And who
so
knows if I'm doing it
wonderful.
right, but just like doing
I don't
it.
think I am. Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of sun, I know you're from South Carolina and you film in South Carolina, so I'm guessing that sunscreen is on your radar. Do you have any
For sure.
like tips for sun protection or sunscreens or anything that you use?
For sunscreen, I've been using usually I'll probably use a tinted moisturizer with sunscreen.
Hmm.
Um, and I use the Elta MD SPF 45
Love that
for
one.
my face, and then just I'll use like Neutrogena on my skin. Usually while we're filming, it's like SPF 100 because we're always out in
Yeah.
the sun, and it doesn't really like we'll still come back and be burnt. Um, but for besides Elta MD, there's also a really nice one by I think it's called Chantecaille,
Hmm.
and it's a primer, a makeup primer with SPF 45 built into it, and so that's kind of been my new thing. So I feel like I can, wear makeup, and
Multitask. Yeah.
I can do a whole face and also like have, protection,
Be
which is really
protected.
nice.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Um, do you have any other ways that you make time for yourself or self-care moments? You kind of just went through that with the routines and stuff like that, but I guess maybe the podcast. Do you have anything else that you like to do?
Um, Sometimes I have to force myself out, like to go outside. Like sometimes I just want to like sit on the couch and like read or like listen to a podcast, and I'm like, no, you need to go outside today. Um, and so I'll go on a run, or I'll go on a hike. I'll go to Runyon, or
Mhm.
just like try to get out. Maybe I'll just go for a coffee run. I mean, I never need an excuse to go get coffee, even though I can make it at home perfectly fine.
I know.
Yeah, and sometimes just going on a walk, or like I really, really love, one of my favorite things to do is to go to a cafe at like lunchtime, and sit down and have a glass of wine and bring a book, or just sit there and like put my headphones in and call people I haven't caught up with in a while. I think it's just so nice to be able to sit down at a little coffee shop or a cafe, and just spend time with yourself and take yourself on a date. I think
Sounds lovely.
it's really sweet. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do.
I love that. And just going for a walk. Anytime I'm like, I
No,
need a break, like walking suddenly puts everything into perspective and
it
you come right
does.
back to it.
It does. It's nice.
Okay, my last question is, when do you feel your most beautiful?
I don't know. I don't know. I think I think when I think sorry. I think when I'm putting into action all of those things that we've talked about that are acts of self-love towards myself. I think, when I'm in my routine and I'm doing things to actively take care of myself and I'm, listening to myself and, asking myself, what do I need today? What would I like to do today? What do I need to get done? And then also when I get done up and, go out with friends or whatever, we'd our outfits and get ready together and I love that. I mean,
Oh,
obviously, but
totally.
yeah, yeah,
I can't remember
probably
the
that.
last time I curled my hair, so I appreciate this conversation today, being able to
Yes.
get put together. But thank you so
Yeah,
much, Madeline. This was such a great conversation. Thank you all so much
thank
for
you.
joining us. For more Breakthroughs Festival programming from all your health and wellness faves, visit breakthroughfestival.com. See you soon.